Yeah. David's here. He has one too.
Is that just our backup? Because we're not going to have library. Okay. All right. I will call the meeting of July 10, 2024 to order, and it is 7 o'clock, and let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. All right, will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes. Mayor Cindy Simpson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Brandon Moore.
Here.
Trustee Richard Jumper.
Here.
Trustee Nicholas Mann.
Here.
Trustee Andres Cesardo.
Here.
Trustee Newman.
Here.
All right, and I would seek a motion for the approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion. We approve the agenda as presented by staff.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I almost voted. Old habits. All right, so the agenda is approved. And I would seek a motion and a second for approval of the minutes of June 26, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 26, 2024 as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, passes. And then we have our treasurer's report with the June bills and claims. Looking for a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve the June bills and claims as presented.
Okay, we have a motion and a second by Nick. Yeah, just
Sorry, I'll speak up.
we're playing to the back of the room. Yeah. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So it is passed, and we look forward to signing more checks. All right. So now we have audience business, and we have one person signed up for it. And this is, I don't know if it's on the agenda or not. David? Hi. Are you here to speak to us on something on the agenda or not on the agenda? Okay. All right. Go ahead and take to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and give us your best 5 minutes.
Okay. My name is David Mallon. I live at 693 West Grand Avenue. And I am a business owner. I own Bomb Diggity in town. And I am here to share with you my ideas about rebranding, new logo for our town. And the reason I bring it up is they're having a stellar year at Mesa Verde. Sales are out of the roof, and it's mostly magnets and stickers, but still, they have a lot of business over there that we're not getting in our town. The visitors are usually making a circuit from Las Vegas to the parks, to the Grand Canyon, to Mesa Verde, spend the night in Cortez, back to Vegas. Whether it's on bus or if they rent a car in Vegas, that's the majority of our travelers coming to Mesa Verde, and they really don't know about what's going on in Memphis. So if we had a sign up there with a calf roper as our logo and branding. I am not sure how many people will come over here. And so I am bringing up this idea to rebrand our town. We are being billed as an arts community, as a creative community, more so now than a ranching community. I think that the brand or logo that we come up with could have some kind of recognition of the history of ranching here, be it a brand, a lasso, something that would recognize the fact that that's the history of the community. But since we're now being billed as an arts community, since we have the creative district, since there are more and more businesses opening around the arts, it's my opinion that it's time to come up with a new logo and brand for the community. Something that will draw people off the highway, something that will draw people from Mesa Verde to this community, because without the Absolute Bakery being open, downtown sales are kind of slow. The economy, kind of slow. And if we could draw more of the tourists that come to Mesa Verde and off the highway, that would be good for the economy, for the businesses, for the community in general. And so my idea is to make a call to artists to submit designs. I'm considering going around to the businesses and collecting money to have a prize for the person's artwork that is selected. And I think that the Board of Trustees, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Creative District should all collude and be in agreement with the new logo that comes up. So there could be members of your board, members of, Kim Campbell and some of her people, and the Creative District be involved in the decision process of selecting a new brand. The calf roping brand isn't going to bring people into town. And it does talk about our history, but it's not really showing what's happening in this creative community now. This is a very creative community. All the music, writers, artists of all various sorts, galleries. It's time to bill us as a creative community and put that out there into the region so that we'll have more visitors and more dollars coming into town. Once there is a new brand or logo that we come up with, if we could, the chamber and the creative district, maybe a board member, approach the National Park Administration, Aramark, and the Museum Association, and ask them if we could put some signage up there, maybe a kiosk of some sort that explains what is happening in Mancos. Visitor center, other places up there where people congregate. So that's what I have to offer today. The signage that we have with calf ropers, pretty minimal, pretty hard to see, and it's not drawing traffic off the highway.
Yeah. So your time's up. You timed it perfectly. And I just wanted to show you, because those red signs are the Chamber of Commerce, the whole where the West still lives.
Yeah.
That's the chamber. Our logo is the Gateway to Mesa Verde. And so I just wanted to show you what our actual town logo is.
Yeah.
And it's a registered trademark there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So it does have the cowboy on it, but it also has the Mesa Verde. So I just wanted to show that to you.
It does. It's nice for a town logo for a letterhead, but for signage, we need some art. We need some art that's going to attract the eye as you're on the highway, attract the eye of the visitors at the Mesa Verde and other regional sites. Something creative, something bright, something exciting.
Okay. Work with staff and,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
gotta work with staff, yeah.
So, and I'll have Kim at the chamber and Chelsea will meet and we'll put together some kind of a call to artists if you're on board with that.
Yeah, we can't make any decisions right now. You would need to approach the staff and then,
They bring it back to us.
and then,
at a
yeah.
board, on an agenda.
yeah,
All right,
and they would bring.
Thank you.
that's the protocol.
Thank
All
you,
right.
David.
Thanks, David.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much. Anybody else that wanted to speak on something not on the agenda? Okay. Oops. Get my agenda back out. All right. Moving on to announcements.
I don't have any, but we will do Justin. We do not have any now.
Okay. Anybody up here have one? All right. Moving right along. Committee reports. Montezuma County Commissioner update. Gerald.
Montezuma County's back to starting our budget process for the next year. It's going to be a long drawn out process again because we're going to be short a couple $1 million. So there's definitely not going to be much increase any place in the county, and it's going to be decreased to some degree, a lot of places. So it's not going to make very easy work for the next 6 months or so to get through all this stuff. But hopefully somewhere along the line we'll get a sales tax passed and it can help us out. But hopefully that'll help with the sheriff's budget in the future, because we definitely need to do something. So right now it's consuming about 40% of our budget. And the property tax part of our assessment is about $15 million. And about sheriff's budget's usually around $7 million or so. So it's consuming quite a large percentage of what we take in every year. And of that 15 million, about half of that Kinder Morgan's paying. One taxpayer is paying that large a percentage of our tax in this county, because all we have is a property tax. So it's a very serious concern in the future if something happens with that company, what situation Montezuma County would be in. We're trying to rectify that. Hopefully we can do that, because we need to do something for in the future. Instead of just relying on property tax totally, which has run this county basically all these years, something needs to change. Okay. The biggest thing going on right now is it looks like there's going to be a biochar facility put in up where Ironwood was to get rid of all that waste. Needless to say, the neighbors are not very happy about it up there, but that area is zoned heavy industrial, and unless they exceed some type of threshold standard, they are going to be able to put that facility in there. And according to their program and their thresholds, they should not exceed any of the standards that are there for heavy industrial. So hopefully we can get that cleaned up without too much of more of a mess that's already been there already. So otherwise, I don't know. We've been having some issues with the AAA over the last year. We've had to let our director go, and we're trying to get some changes made in that organization. That's what supplies your senior lunches.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so some things that are changing around in that right now because it was a little out of control, and money-wise, it's going to be really tight again, just about like what it was last year. So there's not going to be any extra money in there either. So other than that, just some land use planning stuff going on not a whole lot else going on right now, so.
All
You
right.
guys got any questions? Money?
Do we have money? No, we do not have. Look elsewhere.
I think that's.
Well, let me see what I got in my
The
pen.
League of Women Voters are going to present 3 talks in no one is in Cortez about that 1%
Mhm.
sales tax for Montezuma County. So
The meeting this next Saturday is at the Calvin Denton Room, Empire Electric. They're going to have these around the county through the summer here.
Oh,
so-
sweet.
So it'll be presented out to everybody.
Nice.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Gerald.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Region 9 update. You're on the board.
Haven't had a meeting
What's
yet.
going on?
Haven't had a meeting yet, Jason. That's Jason.
Okay. Montezuma County Planning Commission update.
Jason's gone.
Jason's got it.
That's him too, isn't it?
Yep.
All right.
It's all right.
All right, that's moving us through the agenda. Okay, so moving on to discussion and action items. We have an open container permit and noise extension during the time of Mancus Days request. Do you want to present?
Yes.
What's going on?
Actually, the business owner is here. Last year, El Rio, the open container, they fenced off and had their own security right into Pioneer Plaza, so they're asking to do the same thing again this year for Mancus Days. And again, also with the noise extension due to having the bands in Pioneer Plaza, and then they'll have a DJ in their building too.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
2
All right.
bands every night? So two forms of music or entertainment every night? Is that what you're saying?
Fancy, do you want to?
Yeah, Fancy, if you want to come up and state your name and address for the record and all that, and let us know what you're planning to do.
Okay, so my name is Fancy Navarro. I live on 350 Railroad Avenue here in Mancus. So the bands, I know it should have been fresh. I think there's maybe 2 bands.
There's one on Friday.
Friday, Saturday. Friday, Saturday would probably be like the main days. Saturday would probably be like, louder. It's more like a Saturday, So what we're doing is that we're gonna put a trailer, make like a stage outside. The same thing as we did last year, but this time we're actually gonna put a stage instead of having them on the ground. And then I think that's what we're gonna do. And then the noise, last year we didn't have, I don't think that many as calls. I think Justin, right? We called like noise or anything. Yeah, and we're really good, like if we are bothering someone, we will kind of like turn it down a little bit or stuff. But security, yes, we have it all fenced in. We have about 5 to 6 boys that will be security as like last year. And we will have 2 people in the front where you can only get in by showing an ID. And you will have a wristband. You only be served if you have a wristband as well. So, and then we did buy one of those scanners as well. So, it's not like it's not going to be like a fake ID coming in or anything either, because there's a lot of those as well. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Fancy?
No.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Thank you.
Justin, did you have anything?
Just for history on this, we've been doing open container and noise permit extension for Mancus Days for the past 3 to 4 years. It's just something we do for Mancus Days for the new board. It helps clean house if there are complaints. There's parameters based on the extension of what's going on for Mancus Days, but for the most part, the community understands it's 1 week in the year, and so we don't have a lot of complaints, but there were a few, but that's just is what it is. So
the open containers aren't allowed in the park and
in the code, there's already the open container code allows Mancus Days, if I'm remembering correctly. But what it does is an open container allows it for Pioneer Plaza. So because that's outside of their business
Right.
license.
This is actually city property.
Yeah, so that's allowing the patrons or anybody that goes to see the band, they can still purchase alcohol, but then have it at Pioneer Plaza and legally do it.
And they can't use the facility.
They can't leave the fenced area to walk down Grant.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Any questions of Justin? Okay, thank you. Discussion? Nothing?
Anything?
Not a
That
thing.
seems pretty clearly laid out.
Yeah. Motion? Second?
I'll make a motion to approve the open container permit submitted by El Rio Cantina and authorize an exception to the noise ordinance at this location until 2 a.m. each day of the 2024 Mancos Day celebration.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Mayor Pro Tem, Reverend Porter,
Aye.
Trustee Richard Nicole,
Aye.
Trustee McMahon.
Aye.
Trustee Andres Esparza.
Aye.
Trustee Daniel
Aye.
Thank you. All right, so then we have Mancos Days vendors request to camp in Boyle Park.
Interesting.
So this is a new request this year for the vendors to camp in the park next to their merchandise. Working with Mancos Days, we're still kind of up in the air, kind of how it would look. But that we have two specific ordinances in the code that prohibit it. That would, the board would need to specifically call out to give that variance for the Mancos Day vendors. Speaking with legal, there is a code that allows the board to do this. And so if you have any questions on that, I'll direct you to David. Essentially what it does is with vendors, as far as law enforcement goes, with vendors being at their property that they're selling over the course of Mancos Days, it cuts down the marshal security time. We'll still do rounds, but because the owner of that property is there, we don't have to dedicate as much time ensuring that there's not thefts during their selling or non-selling periods, excuse me. So as far as anything, it'll actually help the resources out where we get to be more where the alcohol is after the park festivities shut down, and it allows us to be closer to where any intoxicated disagreements
Closer to the action.
occur.
Here in Mancos?
So I am absolutely for it as a trial basis this year and see how it works. As long as there's no damage to our sprinkler system in Laurel Park, I think is the main thing that we need to watch there.
Is there,
Yeah. Do they envision like camping in tents, or would they just sleep in their little pop-up with their merchandise?
I'll defer to Victoria.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
I'll tell you how it goes.
Wait. If you want to come up and you got to have everybody's name and address for the record.
I'm Victoria Peterson. My address is 135 Bauer. And so we're envisioning that they would sleep in their pop-up tent. I've been traveling at shows myself, and so I've stayed in my tent or in my pop-up. As long as there's porta potties, you're pretty much good to go because you bring water with you. And so we're hoping that, I don't know if some people will be like trying to sleep in their car, but we're going to have them park on Park Street because that will be closed.
Okay. Any other questions for
I think
Victoria?
this question I had is whether there's be a designated camp area or they'd move their property and just assuming some people might pitch a tent somewhere in the lawn and that's
just get next to their tent, I guess.
Yeah.
Next to the merchandise.
It sounds like it's something that they're used to doing. You said
Yeah.
you've done it, you've got experience with it. I'm just curious if this is a common thing. We're not like,
I think that many vendors would love it because then again, they do know that they're by their belongings and then they also don't have to technically get a hotel room.
Or tear down and reset.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
David, what's your experience?
Well, I've vended at various events, and normally these vendors have a van.
You gotta talk into the microphone. Please state your name and address again.
David Mallon, 693 West Grand Avenue.
Thank you.
I've vended at events and recently at Tico Time, and most of these vendors are going to have a van that they sleep in. And the preferred way that it works is that the van is pulled up to their tent.
Yeah.
And
they're
they
not gonna be
sleep close,
able to
they
do
sleep close to their canopy where they can keep an eye on their goods.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
That's
Okay.
unfortunately.
yeah.
Right, so we told them that they couldn't do that.
Okay.
And there would be parking along Park Street, and that basically we don't even want their vehicle to leave because we have the barricades and we don't want to have people moving barricades to get in and out during the event because then everybody will do it. So we're saying if you want to sleep in your vehicle, it will have to be parked there on Park Street.
Okay. Yeah, because that was my concern of just like all over the grass and, you know,
Baseball field.
yeah, and all of a sudden we have no water for the grass.
Are there limitations to who? Family members, friends, are they gonna be, you know, I mean, is this just the vendors? What's?
That's a good question. I am not on the I'm part of the vendor committee, but I'm not the one speaking to the vendors, so I'm just not sure if Angela has like tried to count people. But I know we'd have a specific number of permits, I believe. And so, I mean, that permit would be per vendor. I'm hoping they're not bringing a huge family. You know, usually that's a lot. If, you know, it's probably one or two people.
I think it's a
Most
really good
times.
question, and I think that we should consider that if we approve it, we should put a limit on it.
Yeah, well, and if people hear about it too, they might wanna go, oh, well, I'm gonna go camp, oh, we can camp in the park, I'm gonna go camp in the park
Yeah,
too, and they're not part of the vendor.
I'm real nervous about that.
That's a good point.
so the
Yeah,
vendor,
we have tags that we've made that they have to put onto their vehicle if they're camping in there or on their pop-up.
Yeah.
On those vendor permits, do they have to say how many people are at that booth?
You know, we could probably handwrite it on there. I don't think we made a space
Right.
for that, but we could handwrite. Mhm. Like
It's just helpful to speak to-
3 people in this one or you know, something like that.
And where are the porta potties gonna be?
So the porta potties, we just met with Jamie and Terry yesterday, and we're looking at, since Park Street is closed off, usually we would put that in the north parking lot, but if that is continued to be closed off because of the construction, we don't want to block egress and entrance, but right beyond that, there's like a curve in the road right there, and it's a great space for porta potties. You can tell the gravel's there, like people don't really drive on that anyway, but the road will be closed. So it shouldn't block any construction or emergency traffic.
Okay. Would they need to get a permit for having porta potties in?
We've already got all of that.
Okay, okay, all right. Cool. Any other questions?
Well, according to the staff report, it's not asking for any recommendations on this anyway.
No, we have to make a decision. Staff is not making a recommendation to us. It's just up to us to sort our way through.
Well, I mean,
Anything
Justin
else you
thinks it's
want?
gonna be less work on them,
Well,
right?
it could be
So,
more
Yeah.
work for them too.
Yeah.
no, we don't know.
Hang on a second. Anything else you want to add?
I don't really have anything else to add, but I'm here for questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, all right, go.
I was just gonna say, I think Justin probably has the best idea what kind of impact it's gonna have, and if he thinks it's gonna make things easier, I'd probably defer to him in that respect.
And it's a trial basis, I mean.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's what I was gonna say, is it's a trial basis here.
But it could
let's-
make him busier.
Well, there's only one way to find out. So, I mean, we can run as many hypotheticals up here as we want to, but the only way we're gonna find out is actually do it.
Mhm.
So I think we do it and have him report back after
Mhm.
with a staff report on how it went. And then we can make adjustments to it for next year. And we'll have some data to back that up.
Okay,
Okay.
what about
Sounds good.
limitation on number of people sleeping overnight?
I mean,
Yeah, maybe limit it
That would be so
per
hard to
permit.
control though.
Can I speak from experience also vending before?
Mm-hmm.
I've vended at Mancus Days a couple times before, and most vendors have between 2 and 3 people.
Okay.
Most of them. The ones that don't are usually the food truck ones,
Mhm.
and they don't usually sleep in their food trucks because they lock
Yeah,
and they close up completely.
Yeah.
And so the majority of the ones that are on the lawn in the pop-ups
Mhm.
usually have 2 or 3 people. So I don't think it's going to necessarily be an issue, but the only way we'll find out, again,
yeah.
is
Yeah.
try.
But
Let's
I
see how
just-
it goes.
Yeah,
And
I'm just
majority of-
worried, like, family of 12 and.
Majority
you know.
I think we're worrying for no reason, though. I think it's, I just think that that's a worry that we're not gonna, I understand where it's coming from,
Mhm.
and you don't want it to turn into a giant campground out there. But at the same time, I think that from my experience doing this multiple years over here, majority of them, I'd say 80%, are 2 to 3 people. Most of them are older retirees that
Okay.
travel the circuit.
Mhm.
This is what they do. They go from show to show every week,
Mhm.
and they are used to doing this type of thing.
All right. Richard, you had something? Thank you.
I just said, I think the majority of them that have merchandise there in a little tent, they're gonna pick it up, put it in their vehicle, and they're gonna leave for the night and come back.
Mhm.
I mean, cause who wants to go out there and sleep on the hard ground and everybody walking around the park? Yeah, I don't think they want
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it. I think there's a couple things I'd love to see though. One is some sort of designation of like, it's a wristband or it's something so that the marshal can quickly distinguish between who's allowed to camp and who's not. Or, I mean, there's, people sleeping in their vehicles, people sleeping in their tents, but there may be people who want to put up a separate tent for the night. So maybe there's a roped off area for vendors to camp in. It's just some way to distinguish quickly so that the marshal doesn't have to go around if there's other tents. Are you a vendor? Are you not a vendor? And take their word for it. Just so it makes their job easier. That's all I mean, I think I'm in favor of it. I just want to make sure there's some clear boundaries around it.
I like that. I'm with you as well. I mean, I imagine they're going to be near their property, or maybe their tent is just outside where they have their tent set up. But what I wouldn't want to see is like tents on the other side and having to constantly check, like, is that person on the far side of the baseball field actually
Mhm.
with this, or are they a participant of Marcus Days and they're starting to camp? So
Yeah.
or maybe
I think
just
there's
make it
clear
where they-
rules and identification. It makes the job a lot easier.
Daniel?
I'm good with it. I mean, I think maybe Justin and Heather can handle some of that, these logistics we're talking about, and
I was gonna say, if there's a separate tent, maybe you have to make it where they're directly adjacent to their pop-up tent.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if the whole point is security for their merchandise, they should be
Yeah.
at their
At
merchandise.
their
tent.
merchandise.
Or it's
Yeah.
a sticker on the door, pink sticker.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
vendor, just something that
Yeah.
Marshall can visually quickly identify.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like those ideas.
All right. So, I look for a motion and a second, unless you have anything to add.
The only thing I would add is that, thanks for this, it provides the park will be open from dawn to dusk, unless otherwise specified by special permit, or if the specific park facilities open beyond daylight hours and do those outside, so sounds like this would be a special permit. That would be authorized, that you're authorizing, and that, that permit would contain provisions for vendors with, such as trustee Danny Oxal or trustees. So,
Just a question about process. So if we approve it, do they have to, is there a special application form or what's the next step? Like how does this get played out?
Yeah, we got enough time to do this before Mancus Days now?
Well, we don't have an actual application form for this,
Okay.
but yes, we can, we easily work together and create a permit.
Okay, cool. So it's,
So would this be, David, would this be waiving this code for a single trial instance?
well, it would be to, I think it would be from, be a special permit from the town.
Okay.
Whoever's organizing the vendors, to the vendors, group of vendors, organized, saying that, this park will be moving during the space for camping for, use of people.
Okay.
And laying out the terms, where they're going to be.
Okay.
so the motion would be to approve the special permit and direct staff to, that's kind of the gist of it. Okay. Makes sense.
Noodling out an
I'm
idea.
trying to write one out right now real quick here.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions, concerns? All right,
Okay.
wing it.
Wing it here. So I'll make a motion to approve a special permit for the Mancus Days Association to allow the vendors to camp overnight on a trial basis in Boyle Park for the duration of Mancus Days. Are we setting a limit on the number of people?
I think that would
And then have them work with staff to determine the number of people and number of permits.
Second?
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Reverend Brooks.
Aye.
Trustee Richard
Aye.
Trustee McMahon. Trustee Andres Esparza.
Aye.
Trustee Daniel Bennett.
All right, trial basis, here we go.
Aye.
Good luck.
All right, I have absolutely no idea how to say this next one. Huicholas, okay. Las Huicholas de Nayarit, LLC, liquor license perimeters and public hearing date. I want to hear from staff, and there's no location in here. And so I know it's just setting the perimeter, but,
It's the building right.
oh, okay, okay.
Missy's.
Yeah, I just think it should be in here.
The
Yeah.
address.
So it's the restaurant right over here.
Yes.
Okay.
Old Hamburger Haven.
Where Missy's was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I have applied for a liquor license. And so the next step is for you guys to set the parameters, that's the make it city limits for the petitions and set a public hearing date.
Okay. Any questions?
I'm looking at the wording in here, and maybe I'm just reading it wrong, but circulate petitions by August 12th for a signature verification for the April 14th board meeting.
Yeah.
Mine says August.
Mine says April.
For signature verification.
Cool. Perfect, just wanted to make sure, that's all.
If you better time
For the
travel, you
August
share.
14th meeting.
Yeah, mine says
okay.
August.
Oh, down in there, yeah. I was reading it in the recommendation.
Yeah.
Oh,
From staff.
Oh, yeah. The background.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, it does.
So,
okay.
That was just me.
yeah. Town limits.
So many months start with A. All right, anything else, or entertain a motion in a second?
Make a motion, we set the perimeters as the town of Memphis town limits for petition circulation for the hotel and restaurant license application for Las Huicholas de Nayarit LLC and set a public hearing for August 14th, 2024 for the licensing decision.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Delacorte.
Aye.
Trustee Eustace.
Aye.
Trustee McKenna.
Aye.
Trustee Andres Esposito.
Aye.
Trustee Van
All right. Moving swiftly along, Mankish Marshal's Office Construction Budget Amendment. Hey, I'm going on 3 hours of sleep and I taught all day, so the fact I'm still awake is amazing.
All right, so I'm asking the board to approve a budget amendment for the Memphis Marshal's Office. Phase 1 construction. The project started in 2022 with the final budget was finalized early 2023 prior to the DOLA grant. We're ran into some increases in material and some change orders on the steel structure that the architect wanted, which put us over our budget. In the attachment, the rock wainscot that I understand not this board didn't ask for it, but the previous board did. It's cheaper to put it on. That's through and again, I want the board to understand that all these are local contractors. So be $6,000 the perimeter fence with drill pipe ballards, because we learned our lesson on our old fence that was just blocking the hole. People back into it.
Oh.
So it needs to be beefed up. We've still got the chain link in good condition. We need new barbed wire for the top of the fence. But the post and redoing that comes out to about $65 a foot. And it's a 310 perimeter, so that equates to about $25,000 for the fence with a gate opener. The armory door, which would be like a Liberty safe door for the armory with a digital lock, is right around $10,000 with shipping. But it's fire rated, everything there. Pass-through evidence locker with shipping is going to come in around $8,000. That gives us approximately 8 different cubbies with one rifle cubby, to where officers put their stuff in, they drop the key, it's secured in that locker, and only the evidence tech can get in and get it. Interior paint is stupid, but it needs to be painted. It's way more expensive than I thought it was going to be, $13,500. And then desks and chairs is around $8,000. So that puts us over budget from what we have budgeted. $70,500.
Did we send out bids on the paint or?
Yes, there's everybody's just so busy. We didn't get a lot of.
It's not bad, to be honest. Looking, that's cheap.
Well, it's more than I wanted. I didn't want to come to you.
Containers are expensive, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So the perimeter fence, is this the fence around the entire facility?
From the northwest corner to the southwest corner. So the front will be open, but it is all the way around with one gate, vehicle gate.
The building will be fenced.
Building will be fenced.
So why is it?
Because we have to, instead of putting towed vehicles for search warrants at Public Works, we'll have cameras that can view those in a secure lot.
Right, so the lot is just not behind the building?
Well,
To access from the park?
that's how you access it, is off of there, but for security purposes, all the way around the building.
So are we not wanting people to come to the marshal's office?
The front's open, but so it'll go to the edge of the walkthrough just like the old fence was.
So it'll on the sides of the building, it'll just come to the edge of the building
Yes.
so that the front.
Front is open to the public.
Just the front.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's not like it's gonna be a fort with.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the view from the park, from the playground, gonna be an impound lot?
No.
Okay.
So it's only going to be if we have to put vehicles there
Okay.
because there's
It's temporary.
Yes.
Okay. Sweet.
But it's just like any other police building.
And so I'm assuming, were these costs originally built into the budget, but because of, like you said earlier, things kind of push these higher?
Yeah, like we had the future plan for an elevator, and that ate a ton.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't let us not do it since it's a public building.
Yeah.
The elevator's not going in because that would put us way over. But
But you're preparing for it.
it's prepared. The shaft, everything will be built until it actually becomes a public space in the 2-story. Or staff is up there, then we'd have to, for ADA compliance, have to put it in.
Richard?
So how important is the armory? Does this other office that you have an armory?
It's an old bathroom, but yes, it's an armory.
I mean, $10,000 for a door is a lot of money. You could buy a lot of gun safes for that and mount them to the concrete and have your armory.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what we're trying to get to.
The thing is gun safes also take up room.
So this $10,000 gun, the armory door doesn't take up any room?
It's just the entry door to the armory. So there's a workbench, there's storage for the ammunition, bulletproof vest, things that if
It's a room.
building, it's a safe room is essentially what it is.
So
Is that wall beefed up then?
Yes.
So you can put the door on?
Yeah, I won't publicly say what it is, but it is.
Yeah.
cinder blocks. So, the 1.2 we've already pretty much gone through, is that what you're saying?
We haven't gone over, we're projected to go over at $70,500.
70,000?
70,500.
Because does that bid have security cameras in on it?
Yes. Everything is in there, the electrical, the plumbing, all of that is in there along with the 2 stairs. This is just what we're over budget on.
Okay.
As someone who works in construction and has seen a lot of projects over budget, you're not too far off. It's actually pretty good.
We're not done yet.
No. I guess, well, that's something to bring up. Is there going to be more?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to. What else is there gonna be? I mean, we're gonna have to landscape it. That's not in there.
The landscaping is gonna be talked to with the, Mancos Valley Conservation. They're gonna look at, and the idea is xeriscape. I don't want any water there. It's already gonna have all the solar. I don't want anything else that's gonna import or hurt our resources based on what board discussion has been on water usage and everything else.
Yeah. Awesome. Anything else?
It's a 6% overage on the main budget, which is within the range of normalcy, we'll call
I was hoping not to be over it all.
Normalcy,
it.
yeah.
We usually build in a 20% contingency just because this happens.
All right.
Yeah, 10 and 20% contingency reserves are common in, in my world too, so, yeah. 6-7% is not bad.
So you got another 4% to play with.
No, you don't.
You didn't. That is not official.
Oh, it was a decision.
All right, well. If
I make a
nobody,
motion, we approve the budget amendment to the Mancos Marshal's office building for phase 1 construction.
I'll second.
Not to exceed $70,500.
I'll second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Mayor Parkman,
Aye.
Trustee Rizzo.
Aye.
Trustee McGinnis.
Aye.
Trustee Andres, correct?
Aye.
Trustee Dan.
Aye.
What version is this page one?
All right. Motion passes. And items for July 24, 2024 meeting. We've got second quarter 2024 financial and work plan update, water memo discussion, fiscal update discussion, CDOT long-range planning project discussion, 2025 budget discussion workshop, and 2025 work plan adoption, and 2025 through 2030 5-year capital plan adoption. Anything else that we want to see on the agenda?
I do not have anything.
Okay.
I will not be there.
All right. Okay, Stan, y'all have anything else?
If I get it done in time, I'll put the proclamation on there.
Oh, okay, yeah,
It'll be on the next page.
okay. All right, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, bye, y'all. And just in case you're wondering, we don't have to have a second and a vote because we're considered a small board.
And I was like, oh, that's weird.